Good night. How everyone doing tonight? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Our spiritual divine. I'm here to give you a word on today, and the story gonna come from Daniel in a dens a line. And the story gonna come from Daniel, chapter 6, verse 1 to 28. So hold on, difficult, a little difficult with the camera right now. Okay, so Daniel is a man of God that prayed 3 times a day. So this King Darius appointed 120 subscribers to rule throughout the kingdom with 3 administrators. Over them, one was on Daniel. Administrator and the subscriber tried to find grounds for charges against Daniel. Now, they try to find something on Daniel, and that's how it is. People always wants to find something on God righteous people, you know, and sometimes you could be innocent. He was innocent the whole time, but they just wanted to throw him, just wanted to find something on him. So his conduct was good, um, but they were unable to do so. So they couldn't find nothing. And they didn't do no good. They gonna keep on trying. You know, so they was unable to find anything. They couldn't find nothing on him. He was a trustworthy, and he was neither corrupted. So they did not succeed. They wanted to find something on him, and they couldn't find nothing on him. But they're gonna keep on trying to dig. So now they tried to find something on Daniel. They did not succeed. The devil always will try to find dirt on God's righteous people. So they didn't succeed in that department. But the administrator and the subtribe left in groups, to try to find something else. So they left in groups to tell the king if anyone. So now they're coming up with a rule, and see that's how they will do. If they can't find nothing on you, they're gonna find something that you normally always do. So they know Daniel always pray 3 times a day. So they're trying to find something that he do, so they can have something to come against that, to have him to be placed in a den of a lion. Because see, they couldn't find nothing wicked. They couldn't find nothing wrong. So they're trying to find some positive that he do, and so that they can turn that against him and throw him in. So they left in groups to tell the king, well, we couldn't find nothing in him. So whoever pray in 30 days will be thrown into the lions of death. So since they couldn't find nothing on him, so they know he prayed 3 times a day. So they say in the next 30 days, whoever prayed will be placed in the line of the den. So the king wanted to put it in writing. So they wanted to put it in writing and get it published. So now Daniel heard about it. Daniel heard about it and heard that they got it published and everything else. But they didn't do no good. Daniel still went upstairs and did his normal routine. He prayed 3 times a day. So while he praying, he go 3 men just scoping out and seeing him praying. So what they did, they run to go tell the king, okay, we saw him praying. They know they were gonna see him praying. They know he prayed 3 times a day. So they came at the right time when they know he'll be up there praying. Because Daniel already said he leave the window open towards Jerusalem. So they looked through the window and saw him praying. They know exactly what time he always prayed. And ran and told the king that they saw him praying. And so now we got to throw him in. They was excited. They couldn't find none on him, so they had to find something that he normally do on a regular basis and turn that against him. And find something against him. So So after Daniel learned about it, he prayed, and then the three men that was scoping around, saw him praying, so talking about praying for to God for help. They heard every little word he was saying. So they went to tell the king. They told the king. So they also brought it up what a degree at that we had put in place and put in writing. Let's put that out and go place them in the lion's den. So now they couldn't change the degree because the king pretty much liked the Daniel. He felt the bad. He really didn't want to place him in there. So he was trying to change the thing. They could not change it. So the king ordered to throw Daniel into the lion's den. But he really didn't want to do it because it seemed like he had a tough spot for Daniel. So they start making jokes. They start making jokes like, your God, who you praying to, will he rescue you? You know. So remember, the king really didn't want to do it because he have a tough spot for Daniel. So Daniel in the lion's den. Now Daniel in the lion's den. Now he already know that if he prayed, they were gonna place him in there. So that's how much he trusted God. He trusted God that he know God was gonna save him. So he is a man that don't bow down to nobody and pray to no other God but his own God. He know the consequences would gonna happen if he prayed and got caught praying. He got caught. He left the window open. That's his normal routine that he do. So now he places they place him in the lion's den, and now he trusts in God. I saw the move. So as he walking towards the lion, he praying to God at that moment. He praying to God at that moment. So Daniel told them that his God sent angels. So they sent angels, and the angels shut the mouth of the lion. So Daniel came out. When Daniel came out, he was not hurt. He was not harmed. He did not have no wounds or nothing on him. God saved him. He was found innocent in his sight. So now we have, they haven't found no wrong on him. God haven't found no wrong on him. God know that was his righteous man. God already know he ain't do nothing that them people say he did. They just wanted to find something, and some people just mean and hateful like that. They just wanted to find something on him because he was a righteous man. You know, and wanted to put him in that den. They thought the lion was gonna eat him up. But a mighty God, his mighty God that he had. He trusted God to save him in that line. And that line did not eat him up. Because God always gonna save his righteous person. As long as you committed to him, he gonna be committed to you. So God sent his angels to close the lion mouth up. So now the king was overjoyed and saved the order that left Daniel out of the den. Now remember, the king went home. He couldn't even sleep. Then they placed Daniel in that den. And he done went home. He couldn't even sleep at all. He woke up all through the night and ran to the place to try to get him out of there. Try to get him out of there. So Daniel was telling the king everything, saying how he innocent, and then they just falsely accused him or something because they just wanted to throw him in the den. So the king was overjoyed and saved the order to lift Daniel out of the den. So he lift him out. So when Daniel came out, he had no wound on him. He was not hurt, and nothing was wrong with him. So Daniel was not hurt, no wound, and was not found on him at all, because he had trusted in his God. So now these three men, they falsely accused Daniel. And the king already had a soft spot for Daniel. And Daniel told him how he was innocent. So the king commanded the men who had falsely accused Daniel that was to bring him in and throw them into the lion's den. And guess what? Not only him, throw his wives, his children, throw all of them up in the lion's den. Now he caused his whole family to be thrown in the lion's den because he want to falsely accuse someone. You can't falsely accuse someone for nothing. But that's how they do it. And he couldn't find nothing, so he had to come up with something that Daniel normally do: pray. So now, that's why it's not good to falsely accuse someone. They were trying so bad to find something on Daniel, so they came up with trying to put him in the lion's den, and make sure it make sure it could be written down and sealed, so nobody couldn't change it. But now it's gone. Now he had to go. The three men had to go in there, plus their wives, plus their children. Now you done cost your whole family to go in there because you false accuse someone to be placed in the lion's den. Now if he ain't had God in his life, that lion would have ate him up. That we all have to, myself, I have to always look back and realize, if God wouldn't have been in my life with this battle that I'm dealing with, my enemy would have tore me up into pieces, like that lion would have tore Daniel up in pieces if he ain't had God in his life. It was God that saved him in that lion. If that lion would have ate him up into pieces and spit it out. You know, but God, if God wouldn't have been on his side, that's what we all have to think about. That's why I always tell him thank you every day. Because God won't be on my side. I'll be probably gone or no good. So we always have to thank God. So now, that's why it's not good to falsely accuse someone. But now they going into the den, their wives, their children, and before they can reach the floor, so they're bringing in there towards the lion's den. Before they can reach the floor, the lion had overpowered them and crushed all their bones. All of them that was going into the lion. Crushed all their bones. You know, so the king issued a decree that in every part of the kingdom, people must fear your God. They saw how God saved Daniel. So now he run the kingdom. So he said he made a decree for all his kingdom, all parts of his kingdom, to fear his God and praise his God. Because they saw how his God saved him. Put in a lion's den, in a lion's mouth, and come out not harmed at all. That was the power of God that saved Daniel, because he was a righteous person that prayed 3 times a day. 3 times a day. So he was very faithful to God. So God was very faithful to him. Now he is a living God. He endures forever. He had rescued Daniel from the power of the lion. Now he came out. Daniel came out. No hurt, no wound. He trusted God to save him. Daniel prospered during that time. After he got out that lion's den, he prospered. That king made sure he prospered. So now we see that this package about trusting God. Trusting God, no matter what situation you're in. I'm talking about myself and anybody else in a dark situation, and you feel like, there's no way out. We just have to keep trusting God. Sometimes you're gonna be in your battle, you're gonna shed tears. If I have to cross my finish line on my knees with tears in my eyes, I'm gonna keep on pressing my way through. Because you have to trust God and just keep on walking your way through your purpose. So now we see that the practice is about trusting God. Daniel was told not to pray, but Daniel prayed anyway. He prayed anyway. Right after they told him that they put the stuff in writing and they published. After he heard all that, he went right upstairs and prayed. That didn't do no good to Daniel. Daniel been praying to his God, for the longest, 3 times a day. So after he heard that, he just went up there and still prayed. So when you love and trust God in a situation like Daniel was, you will not bow down to no other God but yours. Including myself and all of us. No matter how it look, no matter how it look, keep trusting God. Daniel trusts God, even though he was afraid when he was walking towards that line. And he was mumbling and praying to God at that moment. He was afraid. But he saw us praying as he was walking towards that line because he was believing and trusting God that I pray to you. I'm a faithful servant of yours, and I'm always praying and stuff like that. So he was praying to God, and he was trusting that whenever that line opened his mouth and put him inside of him, he was trusting God that God was going to save him. So he still prayed to God at that moment. And we have to do the same thing. In our time of needs, in our time of our dark valley, and if we're dealing with all kind of stuff that coming at us, we have to still trust God. When the devil say you can't do nothing, we got to be like Daniel. We gonna do it anyway. If you got a powerful God that gonna protect you and save you, no matter what the devil say, you gonna do it anyway. You're going to do it anyway. Because you're a righteous person. Nobody shouldn't tell you not to pray. Nobody shouldn't tell you don't bow down and pray to your God. You got to pray to your God when the devil tell you cannot. Don't never let nobody tell you cannot pray. Keep on praying. When the devil tell you that you a failure, you let the devil know that you is not a failure, that you're going to keep on prospering. You're going to keep on climbing that ladder. The devil keep on saying, I'm not gonna get to the top. I'm not gonna make it to the finish line. But I say I will make it to the finish line. I will prosper. When the devil tell you something, you go on the opposite way. And you gotta speak positive over your life when the devil's speaking negative over your life. You gotta let the devil know that you will prosper, that you will finish this race. That nothing will never stop you. So you gotta keep on speaking positive over your life, and you got to trust God in that dark valley. I know y'all, I cried many times, because sometimes the pain be so powerful sometimes. But then I have to realize that you have a powerful God too. God see your pains. God see what you go through. God wait for his moment to step in. He wait at your moment to step in. But we got to keep on trusting God in our dark valley. So I hope y'all enjoy this word. And the package was trusting God and in the situation that you're in. Daniel trusted God in the lion's den. So that was serious danger. So he already know how big and dangerous that was, and he still trusted God to save him in that lion den. Because if he didn't trust God, and if he wasn't a man that's prayed all the time and had God on his side, that lion would have chewed him up into pieces. That just like me. If I wouldn't have God on my side, the enemy would have tore me up into pieces. I wouldn't have been no good. So we have to think about, just like the Israelite with that Psalm 120, 124. They say God hadn't been on our side, we escaped like birds. So they think about it. They look back and say all the stuff that they went through. If it hadn't been for God on their side, the Israelite, the Egyptian would have tore them up into pieces. Still the Egyptian would have been in the water. They would have been under the water. So we always got to give God praise. Give God praise, from saving us in our battle, in our storm. He saved Daniel in that lion's den. He came out with no wound. He was not hurt at all. And when he got home, he prayed again because he was praising God, telling God thank you. So I hope y'all have a blessed night, and I see y'all in the next video.